Hey, hello, and welcome, my friends. Forgive me for not being on that much lately. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, I've been working on a lot of different music stuff. But two, I watch a lot of non duality videos. And one of the things I've noticed about non duality videos is that eventually most of the people who do them stop doing them or start doing them and just do them in what we call non duality speak. And I think that's a problem for most people, especially if they're interested in the topic, because they can't really relate to it. Now, when you start saying things like that you don't exist and life is an illusion, and here we are in 3D, here we are in the physical universe, and it's a dual universe. I mean, what we live in, our personalities, and what we have to adapt to is all dual, and yet we're supposed to understand non duality. Well, I think this is a problem for most people, and I can certainly see why people who are really into non duality making videos stop doing it because it's really hard to explain that concept. But of course, that doesn't stop me from trying. And I want to explain a little bit about the idea of, why people are really afraid to get too deep into the non dual way of thinking. And first of all, I think, part of it is the fact, and forgive the noise outside, I have chickens in the neighborhood. I should really be taking their eggs with the price of eggs right now. But anyway, one of the things is that one of the things we heavily rely on in this physical world is our ability to compare things and our ability to make decisions. And of course, we have thoughts and we have feelings and we have belief systems. Um, and the path to non-dualism is not to ignore the fact that you have those things, but to sort of marginalize them, put them on the back burner. Thoughts will come and go. I know some people say, "Oh, you have to stop your thinking." You don't need to stop your thinking. You've got to, you do have to survive in this world, and to do so, you have to make decisions, and you have to use everything available to you, and that is thoughts, and sometimes it's feelings, and beliefs. But if they're marginalized and you more recognize that the truth of yourself, and I'm not talking about your physical self or your brain or your feelings or your emotions, when I'm talking about the truth of your real true self, is intuition based. So what does that mean, intuition based? I mean, it's a gut feeling. It's that non tangible sense that you feel when presented with a situation. And you may not be able to explain why you feel that way or why that sense is occurring to you, but that is sort of a good place to come from because it is your true nature, the part that you don't always trust, but that is always there. So when I say marginalize the rest, what I'm saying is yes, use your thinking when you have to figure something out that requires thinking. Everything else that comes in your mind and goes out of your mind, ignore, let it go. I mean, honestly, the first, I think, real sort of ascension step for me was when I realized I didn't have to take my thoughts seriously. When I realized I was not responsible for everything that came into my goofy head. And so once I realized that, even though thinking happens, I don't pay that much attention to it, unless it's something where I really have to focus and get involved with. And by the same token, the same thing with emotions. Emotions come and they happen, and oftentimes they're just that emotion, and that it comes and you experience that. However, if you start taking that and thinking and running with it and building that emotion, then you're taking it too seriously and you haven't marginalized it. You haven't recognized it for what it is. It's that emotion in that moment in time. And everything in your life is that one moment in time, this right now. I'm sure you've heard that from just about everybody, but that's the truth. You don't live the past, you don't live the future, you live this very moment. So so let's recap so far, just so I don't get too off track here. So just to recap, I'm not saying do away with everything about yourself and your own personality, and we're going to talk about personality too. But First of all, remember your thoughts, your feelings, your belief systems, your emotions, that all can exist within you, and it's going to exist in that moment in time, that very now. But remember, these should be marginalized. These are not things you want to take seriously and go, oh, I can't do this because I have a belief about this. You know, you've got to be open and accept everything that really exists. If you want to know the truth, you have to understand that some things that you don't want to believe are true anyway. And some things that everything that happens is the reality and is the truth. And I know we put spins on things, and we try to avoid anything that we find painful, or anything that harkens back to a bad experience we had. We try to gloss over it, or move on to something else. And we use our mind. We try to think of something else because we don't want to think about this. You know, let these things happen. If you let these things be, they go away on their own. And this is what I mean by marginalizing. Don't entertain a bad thought for too long, because it's just going to keep coming back over and over. And there's no sense in it. There's no sense in it. All you have is right now. Okay, so that's hopefully some kind of recap for the first half of this, the first part of this video. And secondly, I want to say the other part about non-duality that I think people struggle with and have a lot of problem with is this idea that they have to let go and give up their ego. And very difficult topic to talk about, because I find that people think that once they let go of their ego self, or let go, and once again, let go of the importance of their ego self, that all is lost and they don't know who they are, and they have no goal, and they have no mission, and they don't have anything to do. They're just going to sit there like a lump. And that's not really the case. It's not really the case. Your motivation may be different if you're not applying it toward your ego, but you're still going to be doing things. You're still going to be functioning. And the truth is, you're not really getting rid of your ego. You know, we're all born and we have developed certain personalities, and these are necessary for us to live in this sort of physical dualistic world. Those personalities are necessary for us to get along with each other. Unless you want to live as a monk or something, you're going to need that personality. You're going to need the things that you think and the things that you say to other people. But here again, it should be marginalized, because it's not really you. What's really you is much deeper than any personality. And like I was going to say, the reason why people resist non-duality is because they recognize that when I die, my physical form goes. What happens to that personality? What happens to that thing I always thought was me? Well, number one, it's not you. And number two, why are we so in love with our personality? What makes you think that if you were born into another body, you wouldn't develop another personality that you love just as much? Your personality doesn't really mean anything either. It's, you know, I know we like to think of ourselves as each unique, and we are unique in a certain way, but not in our personalities. You know, you probably know 7 or 8 different types of people. You probably can type people in certain ways. And we certainly have done that in psychology. We've put labels on everybody and everything. Now we have them all pigeonholed. But in fact, your personhood, not your personality, your personhood is completely free. So in essence, the personality you have right now, should you choose to, you could change that completely. You see actors and actresses do this all the time for a role. They'll go in there and they'll completely change, you know, who they're portraying and who they are. So your personality is not carved in stone, and it's not something that you need to hang on to with your life, because if you're born into another physical body, you're going to develop a different personality. And I know that you've met other people in this lifetime. You go, well, I like their personality. Suppose you like the one more later on than the one you have now. So don't feel like you have to hang on to anything. I know in this life we're so used to grasping on to things, including our ego and our personality and the things. Oh, we want our likes and dislikes. You know, we want to hang on to this stuff. Hey, let it all go. Your full lifetime in the universe is going to be experiencing everything, and that may require you to be a completely different person, a completely different personality in another physical, you know, maybe another 3-dimensional universe that you're going to be put in. We don't even know. But the bottom line is, yes, if you're going to recognize that you are that part, the fullness of the universe, the fullness of everything that exists, then these little things like your body and your personality and your thoughts and your feelings and all these little things that go with the human existence are just that. They're used for a human existence and may not be useful in the next venture of yours, whatever that may be. So I know I've gone on a bit about this because, like I said, I haven't been on in a while, and I know I've probably left a lot of holes and there may be a lot of questions. Please feel free to make comments and ask questions, and because maybe I didn't clarify something, and I'd be happy to do so in text form. So, hey, thanks for, if you stuck with this, thanks for watching the whole thing. Meanwhile, like I said, I've been working on some music. If you go through my channel there and want to look at some of the new music I've been working on, please feel free. Everything that I do is available on Spotify now and most streaming services. So I will be doing some more music in the future, and hopefully more videos than I've been doing lately. So thanks again for watching. Really appreciate it.